Okay, as we're getting closer to WrestleMania, a really fantastic Raw. We began with Hulk Hogan, who talked about the history of WrestleMania, threw out the proper names to get the proper pops from the crowd. They mentioned him to do a battle royal, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Has a trophy. I actually kind of like these things. I like the bizarre trophy sorts of things. We see enough things. I have mentioned, I loved the Battle Bowl and Lethal Lottery. I loved King of the Ring. If it's one of those things, someone can win a trophy, and then you can do a small feud with the trophy later on. Works beautifully. And then the heir apparent to the immortal reign of Hulk Hogan came down in the way of John Cena. And then Bray Wyatt came down and cut a fantastic promo. Called them both liars, said that hope is dead. Discussed the pride of those two individuals. Then John Cena challenged him to a match. John Cena then took on Rowan. Rowan looked great against him. Lots of great power moves, did a good job. And then out of nowhere, John Cena just did like a schoolboy trick and got a roll-up. It seemed really out of place. I mean, that finish was just bad. Whenever somebody does like the schoolboy and the person who's being like rolled up is also just like not kicking, not doing anything, it's like, oh, you just caught me entirely unaware for 3 seconds. And then when the 3's done, they pop up and they're screaming and yelling and swinging. No, maybe if you'd been like kind of struggling and John would have had to put more of his weight on you, it would have seemed a lot more impressive, but it was just like, you're going to owe me because I have to have a pulled groin, then roll up. Meh. If anything, Bray Wyatt's promo work was ridiculous. However, not the best promo of the night. Daniel Bryan got to the ring and then filled the ring with the Yes movement. So about probably pretty close to 100 people in the Yes t-shirts got involved. And blocked off the ring and filled up the ring at the same time. This is kind of like when Terry Funk won the ECW championship and they pretty much filled the ring with fans and then broke the ring, but they didn't break the ring this time. Triple H came down, tried to have security. He got 2 people. Just 2. Which eventually then led to him finally saying, fine, you want me at WrestleMania, you got me. And I'm going to kick your ass. I'm just going to end you. Period. And then he said, well, that's not all that I want. If I beat you, I go into the main event with Batista and Randy Orton. So he got that. Now all of a sudden, Mania, you're thinking, man, if Daniel Bryan wins, he will be in the main event of WrestleMania. That means this will be the first time in 6 years? First time in like 5 or 6 years, you will have a main event that will not have John Cena in it. That will potentially have Daniel Bryan in it instead. Beautiful, fantastic story. As much as people got pissed with what happened last year from SummerSlam on over, if the E's had this on the back burner the whole time, Daniel Bryan was over in their SummerSlam. Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania, beating Triple H first, and then beating Batista and Randy Orton to become the second WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's huge. That's a fantastic story. And then the next time Raw is when you have CM Punk come down, turn heel, face him, and then that ends up being your feud until CM Punk's contract is up, which would be fun, which would be awesome. Just throw that out there. Taker came down, which made Paul Heyman came down. Nice back and forth. Taker gave a pretty good promo. At this point in time, Taker can pretty much say whatever he wants to a mic with that certain draw, with the blue light, and it's just a great, solid promo. The Usos took on Ryback again. And they beat Ryback again. So, I mean, that match was decent, Big E and Langston took on Jack Swagger in a pretty solid match. I think they've had enough matches now that they actually kind of work. Swagger lost, And then he got into Cesaro's face about it. Zeb Coulter threw off his coat and he's like, you two need to shake hands and get this over with. In the process of doing so, Cesaro showed how much stronger he is by almost like breaking Jack Swagger's hand. Okay, I guess they're breaking apart too because, we don't want to have lots of heel tag teams for any reason. Which means the Usos get to become tag champs at the time when there are pretty much no other viable opponents, for the most part. Kane talked to the Shield and was like, you guys used to be very invaluable. Now you're not. So when people ask, are they going to turn the Shield face? Potentially. Seeing the interaction between Rollins, Reigns, Ambrose, and Kane, was solid. Which then, of course, led to Rollins and Reigns taking on the Brotherhood. This match was sick. This was easily the match. This was probably the match of the night. Great back and forth, beautiful spots, with the Shield being victorious. Now Dean Ambrose is taking on Mark Henry. I think he's taking on Mark Henry tomorrow on main event. Another segue to main event. The Bella Twins took on AJ and Tamina. AJ got pinned by Nikki Bella after she did her version of shock treatment. It's a nice finisher, but the Bellas, when they're not in the tag team, is... Natty was on the mic for that one, pretty much hyping up her title shot against AJ, as well as told Divas coming back on Sunday. Okay? But then Nikki held the title. So there's this moment where Nikki and Brie have the title and they're holding it, and then Nataya's kind of standing there but that's going to be my title. And that's when it's... Nataya's a fantastic in-ring athlete, a great tactician. She's got that Canadian curse, though, where they just really don't seem to have a tremendous amount of charisma. A lot of them. If you're highly technically skilled, you seem to be lacking charisma, unless, of course, you move to Florida. If you move to Florida and you're Canadian, you normally get a pretty good job when it comes to charisma. And speaking of charisma, in a You Choose This Stick match, Sheamus took on Christian in the Memphis Street Fight. So they had guitars and drum sets and kendo sticks. Sheamus got beaten like a piñata. I mean, when this match was halfway through, Sheamus had red marks. He was bust open, almost starting to bleed too. He got the kendo stick, and he worked on Christian, and Christian's got bruises and welts. They didn't show blood, but nice, brutal match. And then Sheamus kicked Christian through a bass drum. After Christian did a frog splash while Sheamus had 2 chairs on him, it ends with a bro kick through a bass drum. I will give them credit. That's an impressive move to do. Because Christian he was running with a bass drum in front of his face, which is normally never a good sign. But Sheamus had to put his foot through an actual bass drum. Not get injured. And connect to make it look good. So overall, impressive spot. In your main event was Orton and Batista versus the Big Show and Daniel Bryan. And pretty much, Show did a good job of holding his own. Nice work there. Daniel Bryan cleared house. Hit the knees on Batista. Hit the knees on Orton. Pinned him 1, 2, 3. So apparently this was the week of pinning champions in tag matches. Mania right now is looking beautifully set. Period. And I'm looking for 2 people to really step up at Mania. One is Daniel Bryan. He might be pulling double duty, and if he does, that's impressive. That is impressive. The other one was Bray Wyatt. The match Bray Wyatt had against Kane at SummerSlam, horrible. There really is very low redeeming value to that one. The match that Bray Wyatt put on against Daniel Bryan at Royal Rumble, oh, that was worth the price of admission alone. The Wyatts versus the Shield Elimination Chamber, better than the main event. So that means Bray Wyatt can bring it. And he's doing the opportunity to bring it on the grandest stage of them all. WrestleMania.